All right, welcome to another Konami Code Friday here with Brothers Forge Gaming. And you know what? You see Ultra, you're thinking that's not Konami, but guess what? Sure enough, it is. Back in the day, they had restrictions on the amount of games companies could publish in a year, some kind of random restriction like that. Anyhow, Ultra. And I mean, it's pretty common. You hear these tunes, you hear this music, you hear the sound effects. You're like, you know what? That sounds like my favorite Konami games, Castlevania, among others, Ninja Turtles. It was one of those things we never connected the dots. But the more you look into it, the more you realize it is a true fact. At least so I say so. But anyhow, if you guys have been hanging out, tuning in with us on Fridays, we've been doing the Contra Challenge, various challenges there. If you want to check the playlist, I will link that in the end. But the idea of this is we're looking for games that you can pump in that Konami code and get whatever specialty that it gives you. I did want to do Gradius next, but my copy doesn't work anymore, so that's a big time bummer. I've had that game for a long time. I had thought I had cleaned it, but apparently I did not, so maybe it sat dirty too long. I might try to hit that with the Brasso. I don't usually go to that cleaner. It seems a little bit harsh, although I do know people recommend it and other things like it. However, so that one's going to be on the back burner for a little bit. But anyway, I looked into some of the games that you can use the Konami code for. And growing up, I was fully aware of the code, but I didn't know that they slightly variate the code. So, for example, on Super C, I think it's kind of like backwards, or you have to do it on the second controller, something weird that you're not used to. So that's why I was like always putting that in, and it never worked. I'm like, hey, what the heck? But hey, guess what? It works on Super C. I believe it only gives you 10 lives or something like that, so I need to look more into that, but look forward to that one. We've got Gradius, we've got Life Force is one, and right here we have Gyruss on the NES, which is a very fun game. This kind of blends one of my favorite all-time arcade space shooters from back in the day, Galaga, with some of those kind of around-the-screen Atari games of the time. There were a few very fun. I can't think of the names of them off the top of my head. I actually meant to look into that. I don't know if I'm thinking of Tempest or there was a couple games like that out there. Lots of fun. I like how you rotate around the screen versus the actual, side to side or vertical or whatnot. You've got the around in a circle, which actually leads to a bit of an issue from time to time. You think you're dodging left, you go right, something like that. Now, there was at the beginning, an option to try Control Scheme B, but I don't know what the difference of that is. I should look into it. Now, this is pretty much the first time I have ever really played this game, especially tried to play this game to completion. I may have been aware of this back when I was a kid and putting the code in and whatnot. I don't really remember, which is, it was a long time ago, so we're just going to go with it. This is pretty much the first time I've played this game past the first few levels, and I had no idea that this game was going to have 40 stages. Most games from this time, you're looking at, 5, 6, 7, 8 stages or something like that, in these style games, and so I was a little bit blown away. But that's not a bad thing. I just wasn't in for a 40 style minute plus run. And going into this run, the stipulations are tapper, meaning no turbo, so you got to tap this out. I wasn't prepared to do a 40-minute tapping session. Man, my arm got tired. And then also have this be a fresh run. You don't need to be like me, where this is basically the first time you played the game. But, hey, if you really want that challenge, if this is the first time you played that game, put that code in and have yourself a good old challenge. I want you to try to beat my high score. Speaking of the Konami code and the variations as I was mentioning earlier, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the code for this one. If you're not aware, listen closely. As I said, it's different. So you go A, B, right, left, down, down, up, up. And you got to do that on the title screen. It's not super hard to put in, but it doesn't give you a lot of time before it switches over to that little bit of cutscene animation it has before, the game as it kind of cycles the demo screen. So you do need to do it quickly, and if you're not used to doing it, it might take a couple tries, but you'll know right away. As you can see, the ships are all lined up down there. And one cool thing too about this game is that, like I said, it features some of the things from like Galaga, where if you get all the ships before they land, basically, or dock, or whatever you want to call it, when they're coming in, you get a bonus. It has those similar bonus stages. You get the power up, the double shot. You know, you get some bombs. I don't think that was featured till Galaga Plus or whatever. What was that called? Galaga Deluxe. I don't know. Anyhow, so very similar to that. Love it. Very fun game. Very cool. So yeah, if you know, you guys, it's Friday. Maybe you don't got a lot to do. Maybe you do got a lot to do. But you know what? Take some time. Play yourself some Gyruss on the NES and try to beat my score. Also, make sure to check out the rest of the Challenge This playlist if you're looking for some new and fun, inventive ways to play your favorite games, or even, hey, to challenge, you know, try to beat one of Easy or mine's score. Or, hey, you know what? If there's a game you really want to play and in a way you want to play it that you find fun and unique to yourself or your group of friends, let us know. Put it in the comments. Send us a link. Send us an email. Whatever it is you want to do that, and we will be much obliged. Now, playing through this, as I mentioned, this is basically the first time that I have played this to completion. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. Now, when I got to the end, I had about 650,000 points, and that got me to thinking, you know, I took some cheap deaths, kind of not knowing basically what the game was about, how to kill certain enemies, how to avoid certain deaths. I took a few of those deaths that I probably otherwise wouldn't have taken had I played the game or was more familiar with it. That being said, what I wanted to do is I could see this being a 1,000,000-point challenge, and that's what's going to go down the next time that we play this for Konami Code Friday, whether that'll be next Friday or maybe down the road on that. It's a bit of a grind. You're probably looking at anywhere from about, you know, an hour to hour and a half trying to get that, and it'll probably take you about a playthrough and a half. Like I said, in one playthrough I got 650,000, so you know, you'd think about another half playthrough or so you could get there. And then obviously I wasn't getting all the bonus levels perfect or doing some of those things I mentioned that would have got me more points. So hey, maybe you can do it in one playthrough if you're just an ace at this game. I don't see myself being able to, you know, do that, at least without investing a heavy amount of time. But ultimately that would be, I'd say, maybe the ultimate goal is trying to get 1,000,000 points in one playthrough. That's not going to be the challenge. It's just going to be, can you get 1,000,000 points, and how fast can you get those 1,000,000 points? So look forward to that. That's going to be the next Konami Code Friday challenge when we play Gyruss. And look forward to more Konami Code Friday challenges down the road. You've been hanging out with Brothers Forge Gaming, and we'll see you on the next run.
Runner Full Game.